the Seventh Black Awakening 2017 series. Book our awareness event series exclusively for 2017. The Seventh Black Awakening is an empowering series starting with Are We Still Slaves?
Right, if y'all don't mind, welcome y'all to the Coach Awareness Ministries event. If y'all don't mind, put your phones on silent or off. Go ahead and get started. My name is Mr. B. Copeland. I'd like to thank everybody who came to this Coach Awareness event today. We took the time, I think, definitely Reverend Chandler for letting us have this event right here today on Jackson Street. Now, let's move forward. And due to the current events, what we're going to be talking about today, you know, people protesting, rioting. I know y'all have seen the madness on TV for the last few months, okay? And then one of the things they may talk about is a lot of racism nowadays, right? So we're going to talk about some of that briefly today. I will be discussing today the Seventh Black Awakening, slavery. Are we still any black man and woman? You know what I'm saying? What we're doing is the Black Awakening of the mind. We're in a state right now that we really need to wake up in many areas in our communities on all levels, okay? Let's move forward. Let's give my disclaimers right quick of Coach Awareness Ministries. First of all, this is not a racism event. Okay, I got love for everybody, but however, we're going to go into this history and facts. It may, you know, some people may get twitching and carrying on. And we're not here to, you know, offend anybody, okay? We just come to give this awareness to everybody, okay? We're not a hatred group or anything like that. With that also said, we're not a religious group as well, or an organization. We deal with team members and stuff, okay? We're not looking for people to join us and, you know, follow us and all this other stuff that a lot of people do, okay? We just come to give out, and we're not here to change your belief system, whatever it may be, okay? That's not our goal here. We just come to give awareness to our community collectively, okay? Because some of y'all in here may know more than me, definitely, on the subjects that I may present here today. It ain't about who knows what and who know more better, okay? It's about us collectively bringing this information together and not having a debate, okay? I'm not trying to have that or a battle of the egos. Now, I may not be the most articulate person, so I might need for y'all to help me pronounce words and stuff like that. I want you to laugh at me too, Swill. It's cool to laugh, but you know how some people might laugh, oh, you stupid. You know what I mean? It ain't that, family, you know. I got my style, you know. I may not be able to pronounce certain words. I'm not very articulate, okay? With that said, please raise your hand if you have any questions throughout this. I'll try to answer. If not, we have some notepad. Anybody need some note paper or anything? If we can go ahead and get it. We ask everybody, any information that I shared, please go look it up for yourself, fam. I may be a maniac up here telling y'all anything right now, fam. Okay, so I want to make sure y'all get your own information as well. Okay, let's get started here. The topics I will be covering today as following. And y'all are the first people to really see this particular event that I'm doing. For the last month or so, we've been doing Are We Still Slaves? We just came out with a DVD and work booklet for you and your family. You can go through it, and you know, if you got children and stuff, give them some activity, so to speak. And then, like I said, to help awareness to our community, okay? So we got that going. So we're going to be covering today the following topics. This is like part 2 of Are We Still Slaves that we got over there, okay, family? All right. So let's look at this. We're going to look at the brief look at the Americans' Pledge of Allegiance since the Roman colony and the medieval felony. Now, there's African Americans. You must understand that when they talk about Americans, they talk about people as you define it, those who came from the British Isles. Okay? Now, what's this African Americans? I don't think we quite get that. So when they speaking on TV, it's 2 or 3 things they may say. They may say Americans. They may say African Americans, and then when they want to include everybody, like Latinos and everybody, they use the terms all Americans. I'm not sure y'all have heard that, and many debates and different things. This is why these categories are there, okay? Because we have a hyphen, right? African American, Latino American, what else we got? Chinese American. Y'all with me? Okay, so when they talk about America, they talking about a specific group of people came from UK, Great Britain, regions. We also talk about allegiance. Now, the pledge of allegiance go back to the Roman Empire. Okay, for those who may not know that. Okay, now I was on the Whitehead show this yesterday morning, I think, and we talked about that. With Romans, when we go into this, I want y'all to keep in mind, for those who may not know, that the Romans got their culture from the Greeks. Okay, and the Greeks pretty much got their culture from the Babylonians. Babylon is where Ur is at. Ur is where the Euphrates and the Tigris meets. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. And they got their information originally from the Nile Valley or Africa. Okay, so let's move forward. We're going to look at the thirst for melanin in the Albus cannibals. Okay, now this sounds pretty outdated. But this bear with me, family. Understand that when melanin, I ain't gonna get into the science of melanin and all that right now. But y'all heard of melatonin and different stuff made? Okay. A lot of that is actually made from African bodies. And we're gonna talk about that briefly today. This type of awareness that we need to try to understand here in Black History Month, what we really may be up against here in the near future. Okay? And I'll talk about that more in a minute. Special religious instructions for the Negro slave problem. And like I said, I'm not here to change your religion's belief, but however, there was some special religious instructions that was given to people way back in the 1600s and 1700s that they must teach when we became slaves to all the slaves. Because remember now, we couldn't really read and stuff like that, right? We wasn't even allowed. We couldn't get our ass poked out, tongue chopped out, all types crazy, right? All right, let's move forward. Reaganomics and its effects left on the black communities. How many of y'all heard of the Reaganomics? Oh, remember that? Huh? Okay. But we forgot about it. We fell asleep on Reagan. What happened with Reagan? We're going to talk about that in a minute. And since I talk about all these problems, do I have any type of solution? So, I really know 100%, but at least I give a theory. Okay, man? How do we break free within the land of the free? Y'all with me on that? All right. Okay, it's better I do it for that guy. You know? Like I said, I've been moving around. I'm very active. You know, I got to keep that energy going in me, all right? I'm trying to do edutainment, okay? All right. I don't want to bore y'all too swift. So let's go into this film. We're going to look at the outrage. Like I said, I don't see people crying, family. We're ready to come to the end and all types of stuff, family, right? On the decisions that the American people made as a president, okay? Now, who's speaking on wanting to make America great again? But as African Americans, we got to ask ourselves, well, what made America great from the start? Right? We got to, try to figure that out for us because we don't really know our history, right? So let's move forward. Many African Americans are asking the question, are we ready to become slaves again, right? No. And if we're not, do any of us have any type of methods or plans to change the things that's going on right now? I remember I was working on the community council, right? For years. And I said, if somebody came in here right now and dropped $10 million on the table and said, take care of your community, what plan do you have? They like, nobody really had no plan. You understand what I'm saying? I'm probably going to ask that same question today. And people don't really have no plan. Okay, but yet we want change, we want this and that from other sources that we're not willing to provide or even think of for ourselves. Okay, so let's move forward. What is the root of our problem? Like I was saying, are we Africans in America and strong enough to realize the truth and we see it and accept it and try to change it? Because we can see things. People can be in certain positions and jobs and they see what they're doing to us. And they like, I can't lose my job. Or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So they not even going to accept what's going to happen. So they definitely ain't going to try to change it. Right? Because it's too painful. Because they might lose a job or anything. But that goes for a lot of different things in life as well. Let's move forward. I feel like I'm saying we must first look at our story that's been stripped from our African black minds to have an understanding of his story and how these groups of people came to power. They said that they're the power, the superpowers of the world. Right? How can he be so super and powerful? Let's find out. Like I was saying a minute ago, we're going to look at the brief look at the American Pledge of Allegiance since the Roman colony and the medieval Feudalism. Okay, remember, they started with the 13 colonies. Okay, but we're going to go way back to Roman times a little bit, though. 1,000 or so, 2 years. Now, before they came over here, okay, the 13 colonies were started with the Americans, right? We got to understand that it was already nations here. We had cities here. We had towns. We had a government already here set up. Okay? We had like the Powhatan Nation, right where we at now, Virginia. And down in North Carolina, different places, we had the Cherokees. You know what I'm saying? They talking about building a big wall down this area, right? This is the Edutainment Empire back in the day. So they got a mighty big wall to build, but these got people just trying to get back home, right? So proud of where they put them at, right? They just said, yo, we need more slaves. Okay, let's move forward. He owned his land in 1142 AD. The Indian nations already had a constitution. It was called the Great Law of Peace. Okay, it was by the Iroquois Confederacy of Nations. Okay, in 1776, when they came over the 13 colonies, they were talking about Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson and all of them helped create the framework of the Constitution. Okay, a lot of that because they took a lot of the information from the Iroquois Nation. Okay, they got that Constitution from us. Let's move forward. How many of y'all heard of Mansa Musa? Y'all never heard of Mansa Musa? Okay. Now this brother here, he's considered the richest man in human history. Okay, ain't not a brother now, they talking about bling, bling. Ain't not a brother now, they talking about bling, bling. They ain't have as much bling as this dude. Okay. Let's move forward. Let's talk about Mansa Musa. What happened to him, this black African brother? This is around 313-25 AD. He came, did what's called along the Trans-Sahara Route. Became Trans-Sahara Slave Route. Okay? And Muslims and stuff, the Islam cats were some of the first people that put us in slavery before the Portuguese, before the Spaniards, before the Americans. Okay? So it was the Islam brothers. These brothers look like me. You know what I'm saying? Had us going across the desert. Okay? So what happened? He went across there with 500 slaves, everybody loaded with gold. Okay? By the time they got to Mecca, he gave it all out like he was Santa Claus or something, right? And what it did, it crippled the economy. Okay? For up to 12 years it took him to restore them feet. Let's move forward. Now this voyage, of course, was heard throughout the ancient land through here, especially Europe. Now in Europe around this time, they was having some feet. Let's move forward. Now this voyage, of course, was heard throughout the ancient land through here, especially Europe. Now in Europe around this time, they was having some terrible times around the 1300s. Okay, they had what's called the medieval mini ice age. It was having like the Black Death coming on and all this stuff. They're wiping out their population like crazy. So this is about survival now. We almost down to the last few people. What we gonna do? You see what I'm saying? We're gonna have to hit the streets, so to speak, and get to work. All right? So what kind of work did they put in? Let's find out in a minute. Because most of this land, all this, was owned by, once again, Africans. Okay? Now, I was think that during that time, like Spain, no, we was in Europe, running Europe. We the ones that built most of the castles, most of the cathedrals. Because remember, they was uneducated. They didn't really care about education. They still don't today, a lot of them. Okay? That's not their thing. That thing is about eating, survival, and getting some land. That's top on the list. Okay? Let's move forward. Now, after Mansa Musa famous voyage, like I said, with the gold, that's when they started using kept money for servitude now, more so in certain regions. Okay? And the Roman Empire used to do it anyway with the Romans coin. Let's go back to there for a minute. Within that system of government, the Romans had what's called a feudal society, which had 3 orders. Now let's look at that word. Now in the day, these youngins and everybody, they got the computer and they got the little text thing. So they type in, they want to type in feudal and go straight to the word, right? But we lost the days of going from where that word starts, feud. It's going to start at feud, right? And you go all the way down until you reach that word, feud. Okay? We forgot that technique of learning. Okay? They don't cripple our mind with that. Okay? But that's how you really look in the dictionary when you look where that word starts at. So even if it's feudine or feudal and whatever before you get to feudal, all that's included into the definition of the word feudal. Okay? Now how it can be used, so to speak. Let's move forward. And they had 3 orders. Let's look at the first order here. Those who make war, known as burns and knights. Now we know these cats love to do war. They still doing war to this day. Turks, we got Turks, we got to attack. All right? Well, they value things. So they had values and things they really love. They came first. What was one of the first things in their life? Well, then, of course, weapons and stuff, but their horse. That was one of the first things they valued. Okay, it's tonight, it's one of the warriors. They might be called, what, Green Berets and all types of stuff today, right? Let's move forward. Secondly on the list was their son. Okay, no disrespect, but the Greeks and all them, they had a little thing for little boys. Okay, I said they valued their son. Did I say anything about the daughter? Move forward. The last thing on the list was their wife. Okay? That's unlike the African society. We had a wife right there beside us. Okay? Then we have man, woman, and father, son, and who? Wife. Yeah, he had it right too. Wife is supposed to be, but it's Holy Ghost. Yeah. Took the wife out. But you're right. It's father, son, and wife. Or father's child and wife. Okay, so these are some of the things they pretty much, like as you see, the women was at the bottom of the list. In the Greek society, they wouldn't even allow them in the city unless it was for certain pleasures and servitude and slavery. Okay, unlike our society as Africans. Okay, we must understand this. Let's move forward. Man, we got this guy here. Y'all heard of Hannibal Lecter? Some of y'all haven't, right? Okay, a lot of y'all hear of Hannibal. They think of the dude that ate people. You ask the average kid, you heard of Hannibal? Oh, you mean the dude that eat people? Nah, man. All right? So, let's look at this. One of the greatest Nubian warriors who crushed the Roman army back in the Punic Wars in 216 BC. Okay, then this guy right here, they still, who was this, 2017? They still use some of his military tactics. Still, huh?
The elephants.
They got the elements, but now I'm saying as far as the way they surround and different fighting techniques that they're using. They got it from this man here. Now, during the Punic Wars, they defeated them with elephants. They went across the Alps and everything. Okay? I mean, the elephants ain't used to cold weather, but they made it through. Okay? Now, the war wiped out most of the male population of Rome. Okay? And they wasn't having that. You got some mothers back home, they had chastity belts on, waiting. You understand what I'm saying? And then you had children left without fathers and stuff. Okay? The male population was almost wiped out. So they pledged from that point to take our black butts off the face of the earth. Okay? They pledged allegiance to the Roman army from that point. Okay? Because this dude right here was taking revenge. The mothers was even, when they was in the room, teaching hate. Serious. All right, let's move forward. Number 2 order they had. Those who prayed, the priests, the monks, the authorities of the church. They had very good own land and all types of stuff. It was very powerful during that time in many areas. Not all, but in many. Let's move forward. Those who labored, the Romans called the colony. The agricultural slaves, people who work the land and bring back a great portion of the crop to feed their kingdom. Mainly the aristocrats. Today they call them the elite, the Illuminati. They got all types of crazy names nowadays, right? So let's move forward. We got the gated community. Remember now, it's like Lynchburg right now. As a city, we'll be gated. They have a big wall around our city, family. Okay, that's how they live. Okay, that's the society that they came from. Okay, there a lot of us don't understand or may know about. Let's move forward.
Right here, we're going to do this thing officially. You know what I'm saying? For the Black Awakening. Are we still slave? As you can see, we're going to take you back to 1609 for real. We're going to hit the stumping grounds where all this stuff started at, fam. A lot of cats. This is called doing your field work. Right, so we're getting ready to go into the fort, I'm assuming, right? Is that what they said? What's this supposed to be? But, check it out, fam. This is a historical spot, fam. It's 1609. This is like 1619. This is where a lot of us landed, you know what I'm saying? The first 20, 30 Africans, you know, the Angolians that I be talking about in the Are We Still Slaves of the Black Awakening. So what we doing today, fam, we're going to go to the original grounds, this ground zero, so to speak,
where it all began for us Africans right here on the 13 colonies we dealing with, family. Starting right here in Virginia. Right now we in what's called Hampton. Okay, but originally it was Jamestown. So let's look at the first thing they tell us. What we got right here. We got Robert E. Lee, future Confederate, was stationed at Fort Monroe as a lieutenant of engineers. And Robert Lee ended up coming over our way of Virginia on the Blue Ridge Mountains, you know, causing a lot of havoc. You see what I'm saying? But I guess when he came in on the boat, he landed right here at the Fort Monroe. You feel what I'm saying? So we're gonna go in here, we're gonna go in the museum. You know, the museum gonna preserve the information. And we're gonna see what kind of information that we can really give the streets from an African grassroots perspective. Give the streets from an African. All right, fam, we're gonna see what's going on here. We're at the old Center Strand. We're gonna see what's good around here, fam. Get us some information. It's just the real deal. You can feel this energy out here. Ooh, it's thick right here too. There's energy around here, fam. We don't know if it's bodies or what, you feel me? Let's look at this. Let's see what they got here. See what we get. Map of 1834, no potable water was ever found on Old Point Comfort, although one well was sunk to more than 90 feet that Carson had to depend on water and water brought in from wells on the mainland. So this, I guess this is the well right here. Is that what they saying, you think?
Yeah, this is where they help.
Ooh, I feel energy right here. Some negative things don't happen around here, family. We don't know what. What, something? Oh, yeah, I feel something right up in here. Somebody might get killed over water. It's hard to say about them fools. But this is the old well, family. Shout out here to come get their water. I guess this is what they was talking about on this sign this name we read. Make sure to get back to remember we always talking about them savage Indians, right? So this is some of the stuff they had to use for the savage Indians. What we have here, more information, family. They call this the Freedom Fortress. So there you have, family. This is also what they said this fort is known as the what? Freedom Fort for blacks. See that, family? Right there. That was during the Civil War, right? Yes. Then the contraband. We're gonna get back to this information in a bit. Guess this is the fort, huh? Okay, this is how the fort originally looked, I'm assuming.
It's a different.
What fort is this? Fort, I don't know. Algonor, constructed in 1609. It looks like an Earl, don't it?
It does.
It's very interesting. So what they saying, you can see how they had it set up. This is their town. Like I was telling y'all in our lecture series, if y'all can check it out, that they had a wall around that city. And look at their favorite flag. Yeah, had the cross on it. What's that?
It's a gated community.
Yeah, that's the gated community. Check out the original gated community. They had the little soldiers out there, you know what I'm saying? And this is your gated community back in the day. They were scared, you know? They still scared to this day. You feel me? That's why they got to protect their borders. It's real talk. You see how they hit the guns and stuff? The cannons all around their crib. But if you came through this spot, they're gonna blast at you, fam. You can't come in that little town or city. You see it? It's real talk. Let's move forward. Monroe. It's a freedom spot. I don't know what fortress. Castle, right? This is a fortress. So originally it wasn't called Fortress Monroe. From the beginning, it received its official name Fort Monroe by the orders of Secretary of War. You know, their war's
And create forts to protect something. Only the people that have stolen something feel the need to protect it like that.
Yeah.
Everyone else they had communities, they had places of peace. They weren't building all these gates and stuff around their spaces.
So all these are the fort areas that y'all can see. And you look at it how it's going around. See how it's going around? And up to this the line up to 18 before they got out real out west. because a lot of this, I think, was also owned, at that time, they had the Spaniards and the French at that time owning a lot of it. So if you look at how it's going around like that, that's this tactics I was telling y'all about Hannibal Banneker, surrounding their enemy. And then they can come in, as you can see, from different angles and come in and attack. What is it?
Mainly for men.
During the Fort Monroe's early years, vast majority of it was for the men. Inhabitants were what? Man, it's worse than the Greeks, wasn't it? I'm trying to tell y'all something, y'all not listening, but we found some domestic divas. All right, family. We just now finished in the museum, family. And where we found out that the Fort Monroe wasn't really built until the 1800s. So we still trying to find out where we came in at in the 1600s. Okay, that first fort that we was housed at. You know what I'm saying? The first 30 or 20 Africans. Remember we was talking about, what was my man's name? The first Wham Tuckers. The Tuckers, that's what I'm thinking about. First African American born here on this soil where we at right now. But this right here was pretty much wasn't built until after around the Civil War times, they telling us. So let's go in a little bit older in history, and we're gonna find this path. I think she said it was that way, right? And we're gonna, right now they saying we're gonna walk across a moat. Is that what it is? That's some get that. So where we at right now, we inside the fort, family. And the moat, if you remember, like back in the day, family, when was that? England, Europe. You know what I'm saying? They had the moat around the castles and stuff like that. But this was pretty much what they said this was. It's like a castle, pretty much, right? Mm-hmm. Originally, what was the name they used? Fort, shoot, I forgot. We just seen it. We got the information. We edited it up later. But there you go, family. Let's roll. Sorry, we still like in the fort, y'all. And as y'all can see around here, man, it's some creepy energy around here. We don't really know what was housed or anything, you know what I'm saying? But as you can see, man, they saying that the average soldier was no taller than 5'8". So these things are real short, family. So we don't find out why these things are so short that I got to duck down my neck when I walk through. And this is the moat. Look at this. This is some, this is the posture in the gate. Hey, gate. So this almost remind me of them old movies where the council at, family, and you got to cross the moat. You know what I'm saying? And this is what this moat is about. They saying this is the only place, in the United States, they got the moat around the fort. Let's check it out. Let's get some enclosed. But once again, this is new footage for us. We need the older stuff. You feel me? This is the 1800s that this was pretty much built. So I want y'all also imagine. Remember what I was telling y'all about? They came here. They gave people 50 acres. Well, this was built on what? How many acres? They said this was. I think they said like 300.
That sounds about right.
So we walking around on about 300 acres. So now we're getting ready to go and find out where we originally landed. They say it's not out here no more, but we're gonna find out what's going on. What we're trying to do is figure out where we first came in on the boat. You feel me? 1609. Or is this, yeah, there we go. We found it, fam. Built Fort Aga. 1609. 1614 was a stockade containing 57 cannons. In 1632, the fort was rebuilt. It was discontinued after 1667. In 1727, a new fort, Fort George, was built. This fort was destroyed by a hurricane in 1749. So, family, this particular area, as you can see, stockade contained 50 people in 1630. It was rebuilt. Now, in this particular area also is where they got real hungry and they ended up eating each other, fam. Okay? This is the area right here. This is why I wanted to find this particular area. And we are here, y'all. Did you get that sign? We got the sign. This is it. Alright? This is for the 7 Black Awakening, fam. So a lot of this stuff we looking at is like new brick. I mean, not that. You feel me? But it's new brick. All right, let's move forward. Okay. Now look at this information on this, y'all. Look at the symbolism. What word is that right there? Defendimus. Huh? You see that? Let's move forward. Okay. Now look at this information on this, y'all. Look at the symbolism. What word is that right there? Defendimus. Okay? How to put a bullet in one of them savage Indians or Negro slaves back in the day. Or cut them open or whatever. Look at that. It almost like the skull. Was it the, what do they call it? Skull and bone thing, right? Look at it. That's real talk, y'all. Right here at the school level. It's where they taught you. Alright, family. We're gonna look at this moat stuff, like, you know what I'm saying, the castles back in the day of England and different places, man. Like I was telling you, this is how these cats live, fam. You feel me? Their cities and everything, it's like they were scared to death. Even back home where they from. So this gives us a more visual of what I'm talking about. Matter of fact, alright, fam, what we got here, fam, is the fort right here. And you can see how the moat, this is the moat that's going around pretty much the city if we was back in the day of the council and everything, or where people lived at. Okay, remember I was talking about my lord. Yes, my lord. Alright, fam, what we got here, fam, is the fort right here. And you can see how the moat, this is the moat that's going around pretty much the city if we was back in the day of the council and everything, or where people lived at. Okay, remember I was talking about my lord. Yes, my lord. Okay, this is the type of situation they were lived in thousands of years ago. Oh, well, hundreds of years ago. I'm not talking about thousands of years ago. Matter of fact, some of them still live that way today. Okay, look at that. Look at that. Look at your crib. That's why they ready to build a big wall down there. They call it the borders, right? This ain't nothing new. Okay, let's go back. This is the New Age communities or gated community. You go past some gates if you want to without getting the right code in, fam. There's going to be cops, helicopters, and everything around in certain communities. Get shot at? Yeah, they're going to shoot you. They're getting serious about this thing out here. Okay, we got an increasing use of money that came around in the 12th and 16th century. This made tenant farming, less profitable and everything else. It was easier to go ahead and hire somebody, give them a few coins or whatever, or give them some food or something, and carry on that day. Okay? Versus I had to now have them on my land, and it's almost like I'm babysitting these cats. Alright? Let's move forward. Now, like I said, we talking about UK, or we talking about the American people. Okay, the Americans, 13 British colonies. They would start here with these particular regions. And they had what's called a Talis Rebellion in England in 1381. And this gave new forms to leasing land and certain freedoms to your land. Okay. Now, this is after the invasions of the UK, and they wasn't invaded by the Romans until about 40 AD. They had a whole different system going on until the Romans came. Okay. Now, they developed around the 10th century, AD. They came with serfdom. And this particular system here is under serfdom on the Lord, who's like the noble, once again, the priest, the person who owned the land. You were bond legally, economically, and socially to these people. Okay? Now the sharif, I think I'm saying pronouncing it right, it also means serus, which is slave. Now, was the enforced labor upon peasants. Peasants, if we read our history and we read anything about peasants, we gotta look at them like today, we call them ghetto cats and low income or Section 8 people, right? That's when we see them words when we study in our history. So in return, they receive protection. And you hear them today. Talking about we need to protect our people, the American people. Huh? I know y'all we got to protect from terrorists. Okay, beef up our security. And this been going on for thousands of years to keep us in a certain mind state. Okay? Because remember, there's different types of slavery. There's mental slavery, physical slavery, and spiritual slavery. Let's move forward. The land is like a small piece, like today, we got HUD, you know what I'm saying? Here's a little piece of land. You still only got to do, follow certain rules and regulations and so forth, right? Some of you European countries where the Lord sold the land, you went with it. Let's move forward. Now, within their feudal traditions, they're called serfdom. They had 3 elements to their system as well, like 3 orders. Like I said, you had the abbot, the king, the queen, the bishop, okay? Those are pretty much the people that own land. When people tell me that land is powerful, if you own some land, you better keep it. Now, I'm starting to see why as you do your history. Okay, let's move forward. The vassals, okay? Now, remember, lords is like, y'all seen the movies, my lord, hey, my lord, okay? Y'all don't hear the movies, right? Okay, that's what they talking about. He's going to be an abbot, bishop, the king, the queen, and then the vassals. And those were the person who granted possession of land, pretty much leased the land, okay? And the fief was the land itself, okay? Now the vassals would also do what's called a fealty, which is a pledge. And what was he pledging for? Okay, the same reason we pledge to protect who? Provide military protection for who? The Lord. Just like today, they are really protecting the Lord's wealth, investments. When they send people to this country and that country, it's because they got investments there. Or they're getting ready to make some investments by taking it. Okay? Like they did with they talking about the Taliban and all that crazy. They went in to take over the caves that had gems in it. Y'all know anything about the 12 gems and all that? Okay, I'll let y'all look that up. Okay? That was one of the reasons they went over there and snatched that up from what was called the Taliban. That was the protectors of the gems. Okay, and they need our gems, they need our diamonds and all this for military weapons. Remember, knights and barons. Huh? The diamond can be used for the new laser equipment they got going on. That's why they need the diamonds. Let's move forward. And like today, you also hear people saying, hey, if you don't do nothing in your life, you need to join the army to service or something. Right? I know y'all heard that from somebody. And we might have heard when they get out the service, like, man, they sure do get a good job working for the government. Right? Huh? Part of the 3 orders. Let's move forward. All right, like I said, serfdom system is said to end in Europe pretty much around 1600 AD. But the Americans, before the Americans, man, they, hadn't really landed over here in the 13 colonies yet. And then we have France, 1789. In Russia, they were a little late in the game, 1861. Okay, now, how many I've heard you have landlords, okay, bonded to a renter's agreement document? Huh? It's the same concept. Okay? It's just, the game is played a little bit different nowadays. Okay? But we got to realize where it came from the beginning of it. Right? That's what we're talking about here on the Black History Month event. Okay, let's look at they also talking about, if y'all don't know, they talking about people who they sponsor, the immigrants that were sponsored to get here, and in the wolves they're getting, I know they don't see where they shipping them back, just going up on them and boom, barricading them. Even if they've been here since they were 4 or 5 years old and they had a DUI or anything, they got to go back. They're like, man, I've never even been there. I was a baby. Right? Let's move forward. We must go back to 1618 to understand the system here in America of serfdom. Okay, how the Roman colony thing that they had going back in the Roman Empire transformed into what's called the headright system. How many of y'all heard of the system? How many of y'all heard of the headright system in here? Have y'all heard of the headright system? Okay. That's also turned into what you call your immigration laws. Huh? That's the big thing going on right now, right? The immigration thing, right? But that's exactly right. What are they talking about? Right? Oh, they just illegal, right? That's we just got to go along with whatever they're saying right now because we really don't know. But we got to go back to 1618 to find out what's going on with the headright system. Let's see what, I'll give briefs on that. Like I said, y'all can go into more depth. This happened in 1618. Now, I'm going to do a little synopsis. Now, this is usually when they granted you 50 acres of land. When you first came over here, we was indentured servants. Okay, we wasn't slaves at first, like we're being taught. All we know in school is that right today in Black History Month, only thing we really learned about is Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, maybe Harriet Tubman, who is? Malcolm X, he might 5 or 6 people, maybe 7 at the most. Okay? But then we don't realize that when he first came over here, we was indentured servants. It means we did about 5 or 6 years, depends on your skill. 5 to 7 years, or maybe more. And we was free to go, look at our own land, get out 50 acres and some guns. Okay? And start our own thing. This is how they started the 13 colonies. Really, we're convicts. We're criminals.
That's right.
Okay, that's how they populated their, economy. We're criminals. So we worry about today, it is 3, 4, 500 years ago, whatever this math is. We like, man, these cats are criminals. Look what they doing to us. Woo-doo. Right? But you got to realize that this whole system was built with criminals. This was called a Punic state. We'll get into that in a minute. Okay. The system, like I said, Jamestown, like I said, we had it in Georgia, you had North Carolina, you had it in South Carolina, you had it in Maryland. Okay, let's move forward. Now, it costs you about roughly, if you knew somebody, say right now I got my homies in jail in prison across there, I'm like, oh fam, I got 6 pounds, $215, so roughly what it be today. Okay? I can get you over here, family. Kind of bail you out. Okay? But these are the regulations and rules. Alright? So let's move forward. Plantation owners, they definitely benefited. They're the modern day corporation, because the average person, they can only, hire 1 or 2 people. Okay? But a corporation, you can have like 5,000 or 1,000 people, right, all up under one umbrella, so to speak. Okay? Working for you. Okay? Now, this went on, like I said, it was one guy that purchased 60 slaves, ended up with 3,000 acres of land. Now, we also had, right here, it is no longer for slaves from Africa no more, around 1699, because our ratio was getting too high. It started off like 1 to 30 or something like that. But by 1690, early 1700s, we was at 1 to 10 ratio. They like, wait a minute. So things got to change. And we're going to talk about why in a minute. Like I said, by the year 1790, they had a ratification of the immigration law. We got to understand when they talk about this immigration thing, what are they really talking about? Okay? The New World was originally built, this New World right here that they had was built from the immigration thing. Okay? Or the escape prosecution. A lot of people, what is a prosecution? That's somebody being convicted of a crime. Okay? They had what's called the Mayflower Compact. Okay? 1620. Okay? In several states was Punic colonies. That means it was slave colonies built from convicts. Y'all look up the Punic colonies. Now, we must ask ourselves though, well, how did this chattel thing happen? How did it even start? How did we become in slavery for life and stuff? What happened, Mr. B? Wait, let's look at it, fam. Before we look at it, let's think about it. Let's ask ourselves, how can a group of people come over here? First, they get a patent to start, a patent to set up a company in 1604, 1607, the Virginia London Corporation. Then they're able to sit there and grant you thousands of acres of land with guns and stuff, right? To protect your land from these savages. Then they say, we got to protect ourselves and have security for these terrorists. Right? Back then with savages and stuff, right? Think about this, man. Like a man that had the 60 people coming in with 3,000 acres. So they get off the boat, everybody getting off the boat, everybody getting the guns and carrying on. And like, yo, what's going on, fam? Pay their way over here and everything, right? And so these people's like, yo, fam, that 3,000 over there is yours. Oh, you got about 2 people with you. That 100 over there is yours. Okay? And you like, okay, cool, but wait a minute, who live over there? Right? Oh, don't worry about it. It's a bunch of savages. That's why you need your guns, to protect your land. Protect your what? Freedom. Huh? Y'all feel me on that? That's why he's constantly telling us that. Even to this day, because they scared to death that any day if one of us wake up, we're going to realize that, wait a minute, all right, let's move, because they just want to be in that feudal system. Let's move forward. Let's find out where this thing kind of started out for us and how we ended up in chains like this for life and carrying on. The slavery thing coming on all these ships and carrying on, right? Now, this is for the 13 British colonies. It don't have nothing to do with the Portuguese, who's one of the first ones in the 1400s, okay, with the transatlantic slave route. And then you have the Spaniards come along, and the French, okay? Now, we had an Anglo-54, you had an Anglo-African brother by the name of Anthony Johnson. Anybody y'all heard about this brother right here, Anthony Johnson? Okay, we're going to talk about, he had 500 acres of land, okay, in Northampton. You can go there right there in the courts and find this information, okay? And Johnson had 4 white indentured servants at that time, and he had 1 African indentured sharif or slave at that time by the name of John C. Well, he was an indentured servant. What I tell you, after so many years, you're free to go, right? Well, Andrew Johnson right here said, wait a minute, son. We got some fields that need to be harvested this year. You ain't going nowhere. So, this man, Anthony Johnson, became the first slave owner in America. It was a black man. See, we've been taught all these years, all these other things. Okay, so let's look at this, man. They saying this brother had, like I said, it's time for him to go and move forward. Okay, but he went to stay with a dude named Robert Parker, who was a Caucasian dude. You know what I'm saying? He's like, no, man, I got a job for you, man, some food. Come on, chill with me. Right? So they chilling pretty much. My man Anthony Johnson came with the laws. Boom, 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 boom. Yo, I want my slave back, man. So they had to go to court for this. And he won the case. And the court said, and they made a decision at that time, that, okay, if you're of the same race, you can own you for indefinite. Okay? Let's move forward. Then that kind of started some trouble with people, you know what I'm saying? These new laws about 1673, okay? Then what's called the Bacon's Rebellion. Now also during this time, you got to understand that this is when they start separating the lighter skinned people from the darker skinned people. They start giving you names like Caucasians or white people and black people. Okay? Because they had separated because we was together so much, there was really no differences back then. Remember, we all came as indentured servants. Okay? We just came to do some work and get freedom or whatever. Okay? But then they changed the game because of my man Anthony Johnson. Let's move forward. Now, whites still, like I said, could not own blacks legally yet until after 1670. Okay? The Virginia legislation hadn't made no laws for it yet. Okay? The right to own blacks now, this is because, like I was telling you about the ratio being from 1 to 30, now it's going to 1 to 10 by 1699. They had to change some things around. Let's move forward. Remember, we was ruling things in Africa and stuff, right? I'm going to talk about that in a second. Virginia Colonial order, like I said, they even gave us a chance before they really started putting us in this chattel slave system. They said, look, brothers and sisters, we got a boat over here, and we're going to give you a plot of land. I think it's Sierra, I gotta get it right. And one or 2 other places. They said, look, man, we'll ship you back to Africa for free right now. Okay? But what did we do? We gonna sell, a lot of us like, nah, man, I ain't from Africa. I've been here for like 60, 70 years. Same thing we may see today. I ain't no been in Africa, shoot. Right? I ain't no African. Right? And all that other stuff, right? They done been here for 60, 70 years, so they feel that, hey, I'm gonna stay. They sold themselves to the white masters. Okay? Thousands of them. Okay? So what I'm saying to y'all that we was already slaves, a whole lot of us was already slaves here. They ain't have to bring in too many. They did start bringing in a few shiploads, don't get it twisted. But I'm saying it was already thousands of us here. Okay? Let's move forward. That's what I was talking about a minute ago. We had to go back to 1497 before they set sail. You had Queen Isabella and Queen Ferdinand. They was expelling the Moors. They were knocking on doors. They said, we're getting rid of all these Negroes up in here. Because we was running all that. All that was ran by the Africans and stuff. They call them Moors. Moors means the black. Okay? They like, yo, they got to go. They knocking on doors, killing us. They said, I think it was like almost 1 million of us. Or more. Okay, let's move forward. They set up shop, like I said, in their new world called New Spain. And this is dealing with the Spaniards. Okay, I went back to the Spaniards for a minute. Look at this. This is all that they own. See, it was called New Spain. There, this is before they even came. Okay, this is before the 1600s. Here, New France, okay? You had the Portuguese owning a great deal of Brazil and all these different places, and definitely the West Indies where the islands are at today. Okay, let's move forward. The question we got to ask today is, because in 1505, the first reported of cane sugar was harvested. Okay, what did they need sugar for, fam? That's the big question we got to ask ourselves as slaves. Why was this so important to the Europeans? Well, let's find out one of the reasons why. Now, we were still experiencing, like I was saying, they were experiencing different types of diseases and different barbaric behaviors. This during the medieval time, they was famine, they was hungry. Okay, family? Now, one of the main purposes of sugar was to make beer, wine, liquor, rum, okay, products. Now, after the fall of the Roman Empire, they had the Byzantine Empire. I mean, y'all are familiar with the Byzantine Empire. Okay? This empire here. Then you got because this was considered one of the religious, this before the Holy Roman Empire. So you might want to know who the Byzantine Empire is before you get into the Holy Roman Empire. It was also known as the nation of drunkards. They mean they stayed till what? Trying to rule things. Talking about they righteous. Alright, y'all with me on that? He said about a fifth or seventh of the Europeans' water supply was so toxic from waste and contaminated from filth, they couldn't drink it. I mean, they even had, I think it was all the way into the 18th or 1900s. The streets of London and all that was filthy. They used to go down the street and just, do that business and keep it moving in the street. Y'all look this history up, it's real. Or throw it out the window in the street. I forgot, it's in some type of pot that they had. And they tell you to watch out down below this before they throw it out the window. I can't think of it right now. But anyway, yeah.
The chamber pot.
The chamber pot. Thank you, ma'am. The chamber pot. They said, watch out down below! And if you wasn't paying attention, poosh!
That still exists, but not in Europe, in other countries.
Oh, it does?
Oh yeah, I have escaped them.
Wow! See, there we go. It still goes on what? To this day!
And the business in the streets too.
They still doing the business in the street?
In some countries, yes.
Wow! Okay. We got it gooder than what we think is.
I've seen it.
Oh, wow. You heard it from a person that's from there that let you know?
No, I'm not from there. I have seen it.
Oh, you have seen it? Okay, I'm sorry.
No, where I'm from, they don't do that anymore.
Yeah, okay.
They have running water.
Yeah, running water again. That's it. Wow. Okay, well, as y'all heard, it's still going on. All right, let's move forward, fam. All right. Now, they started drinking apple cider, beer, wine, liquor, and all the non-water products. Y'all even here today, they be like, man, water nasty. It has no taste. You still hear that today. Okay? All right. So, they drink mainly sodas and beer. But they saying sugar is also one molecule away from crack. It's so addictive.
Yeah, it is.
Okay? It was so expensive back in the day, it was called white gold. Okay? That was before they had what's called the transatlantic slave route. They made it so much abundance of it, hey, cut down the price. Yeah, well, let's move forward. Man, we also African Americans, we got to realize, family, that the alcohol drink also had a god that it was associated with. His name was Bacchus or Dionysus. Y'all can look this up. There was strong drinking wine. Man, not only was it to keep them warm inside and numb from a lot of these brutal conditions they was in, family. It was also used in sexual rituals and other said demonic practices. Okay? Many of them still use what's called the Yuletide season. I want y'all to look that up. The Yuletide season rituals that we call Christmas today. Okay? Man, sexual rituals with alcohol. Now, I know some of y'all fellas might have heard of me, even though you're not even going to admit that you might have done it. You see the female at the club, you buy all these drinks, because what? you know you're gonna take her on home, baby, right? And get and do these sexual rituals with her, right? All right, I'm trying to tell you. Okay, this is real.
Guilty as charged.
You feel me? And then some of us is so bad, they go home and wake up the next morning like, oh, who I'm with. But then they find out a couple of weeks later, oh, I'm pregnant. This didn't supposed to happen. Right? Sexual rituals even done with it. Let's move forward. Like I said, if you think about it, they use these cats like ancient drug dealers back then. I mean, we really think about what you and how we was running around. Okay, in many areas. With wine, with rum, wine. Look at the Indians today that's on the reservations. They're the highest rates of alcoholism right now. Okay? And I don't know how many other nations out there that's like drugged out, so to speak, off alcohol. Okay? Now, like I said, came from the Greek culture. They came from a mighty god named Zeus. Okay? And let y'all look that up. Alright, let's move forward. Now, forward. Y'all have a thing going, y'all right? Okay, you got some informative information so far, family? Okay, family, we're going to try to go into a little bit more. This time we're going to talk about the thirst for melanin. If your stomach a little weak, okay, you know, I'm giving you a warning now. I'm ready to show you a couple of graphic slides. Okay? Because we're going to talk about cannibalism. Cannibalism that's still going on today. This is serious. The melanin, we got a lot of kids being lost. Y'all heard about Haiti? About thousands of children being missing and all this other stuff. Okay, let's go into this, family.
Book us today at 434-879-6777. Again, that's 434-879-6777. The Seventh Black Awakening.